Hey everyone, welcome to another Pathfinder adventure card game scenario. We are on level 2.1 with the character Alahazra over at the Ruined Temple. So yes, starting level 2, pretty excited about that. So at the Ruined Temple it says when you play a card that has the divine trait, bury it. Okay, well that's going to be really rough for Alahazra. So advancing the Blessings deck, the first thing we get is a Desert Trapper. So combat 7, the difficulty to defeat is increased by the scenario's adventure deck number, so that would be a 2. And each character may play no more than one card. Okay, well we'll go ahead and we'll throw an Immolate spell at this Desert Trapper, which will be Divine Skill, which is D10 plus 5, plus 2d4, and since I'm playing with the character Alahazra, and her special ability allows me to add a d8 when I play any card with the attack and fire trait. So rolling all these dice, adding 5, so we get 10, 11, 12, 15, plus 5 is 20, so that is much greater than 9. The only unfortunate side effect is that we will have to bury this card, and we will not have a chance to recharge it. But the Desert Trapper is gone. So we will reset the hand. And now we will advance the Blessings deck and explore again. Okay, we get a Blessing of the Elements. So it is a Charisma 6 check, and Alahazra has Charisma plus 5. So this is an auto acquire. She will use it to discard this card to explore your location. But since it interesting. So it says here, when you play a card that has a divine trait. Okay, so this actually does not have the divine trait. Okay, so we'll just discard it to explore the location. And let's see what we get. Okay, so we get the villain of this scenario. So the villain, check to defeat combat 16, immune to mental and poison traits. If the check to defeat has the fire trait, add 1d8. And then we have an after you act effect. Okay, so what we're going to do is we do have the Fiery Glare spell in our hand, which is Arcane Skill plus 2d4. And since it has attack and fire, we get to add d8. And since we're fighting this undead mummy, we can add an additional 1d8. So we get all these great dice, and we get to add 5 to the result. Just for fun, we're going to use a Blessing of the Ancients, which does have the divine trait. So we'll bury that card, just so we can add another d10. Alright, and we roll a total of 4. So 10, 17, and another 7 is 24, plus another 4 is 28, 32, plus 5, so we get a grand total of 37. Maybe my math is off, but that's more than enough. So since we used the Fiery Glare, which had the divine trait, we have to bury that card. Don't have a chance to recharge it. It says here, if defeated, before closing the location, set aside the boons from that location deck. After closing, return them to the location deck. Okay, so the way I read that is that, so before closing, we set aside all the boons, then after the closing, return them to the location deck. So the way I read that is that instead of like just automatically shutting down the location, we get all the boons for the location. So that's the way I'm going to play. We're going to gain all of these great boons. Let's go ahead. Okay, so here are all the boons we gain. There was a Falling Rubble left in that location deck. The Scenario and the Ruined Temple are closed. Here's all the loot we got. So looking at it again really quickly, basic, okay, level 2, which is what we want to keep, basic, so we get all these basic treasures. We might keep this Osirian Ancestor. It's pretty cool. We do like it. We definitely like this item too, because with this second item, we can use that to trade to a trader. So we had more than enough cards left in our deck. This scenario is over. Let's go ahead and let's do a quick deck check for Alahazra. So what we have is these are all the extra boons. Let's just go straight to a trader this time instead of doing a deck check. We want to go check out our pal Hayden Hoppert, and we want to get some spells. So what we're going to do is, let's see, what is the reward for this? Oh, you know what? So the reward for this scenario, check this out. The reward for this scenario is actually a skill feat, plus we get the we get the trader, the auction house. So what's really cool, so we can actually now go to the auction house. Let me go ahead and zoom in there a little bit. There we go. So we can actually go visit the auction house this scenario if we want. But first we get a skill feat. Okay, that's pretty exciting. So for the skill feat, we are going to totally max out our charisma. Add in a +3, that's going to help us recharge spells. That's going to really help out Alahazra. Okay, so now that we know what the rewards are for this scenario, and I don't know if I told you, but that last scenario, we got well, we got the power feat. We also got the spear of the watchful guardian. So we've been getting some pretty good loot here. But let's go ahead, hang out with Hayden Hoppert. Let's see what spells he's offering. Rolling some random dice here. So a 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. He's offering this spell. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see if he's offering any spells that we want. So Hayden Hoppert is offering the commune spell and the cure spell. So the commune spell, bury this card to draw a random non-basic blessing from the box and add it to your hand. After playing this card, if you do not have the divine skill, banish this card instead of burying it. Or just cure. So really not too interested in these cards. I mean, they're pretty nifty, but as it is, Alahazra has a lot of great offensive spells. So we're going to say bye to Hayden Hoppert. Maybe we'll visit the auction house in the future. But for now, I'm just going to determine whether or not I want to keep this card because it's a loot 2. And probably maybe keeping this one, but definitely not going to keep that card or this spell or that armor. So I'll decide, or I will let you know at the start of the next scenario whether or not we added those 2 cards to Alahazra's deck. But other than that, we have defeated the Ruined Temple and the villain. Well, hopefully you have enjoyed that scenario, and I will have another scenario up shortly. Alright, thanks so much.